Music and Meditation, a curated collection of positive vibrations, written and narrated by Purhnel. First off, I want to thank everybody that's taking the time to listen to Music and Meditation. Whether meditation is new to you or there's something that's been a part of your journey, I appreciate the time that you're taking to listen, whether you're in your car, vibing on your phone, or listening at home, wherever you are in the world. Just know that I thank you. I appreciate you. I know it's been a lot going on in the world these days with COVID-19, and I know it's been tough on people. I know it's been hard, and these days it's paramount that we continue to spread the positive vibes. That's actually why this book was created. It started out by just passing out positive quotes hand in hand, but I decided to reach more people by putting the quotes and exercises in the book. I'll take some seemingly complex concepts and I'll do some build-ups and some breakdowns. So we'll find ways to, just incorporate them into simplistic daily exercises. Gratitude to everybody who's contributed to this compilation. May this content bring you many blessings on your journey and continue to bring you peace. Peace, love, and light. Introduction. Living in a day and age where negativity seems to be the new form of currency, those with spiritual riches seem to be economically limited. Regardless of the religion, we all seem to strive for similar things such as happiness, peace, security, and connectivity. Because we're all connected, wouldn't it be incredible to put this into perspective? As the sun rises and the sun sets, regardless of where we are on the planet, we're all witnessing the same phenomenon. Now, what if instead of finding the reasons to look at the negative aspects of life, we took our consciousness and shifted it into a positive state of mind, or as Les Brown would say, program your mind, or your mind will be programmed for you. First-hand experience would agree with you and reflect that in the cultural climate that we currently find ourselves in, shifting our mind to a positive attitude may be hard, especially when immersed in such negativity. Now, this curated collection was designed to put you in a positive frame of mind, even if only temporary. Now, by no means is this to suggest that one should dismiss the reality of life and merely pretend to be positive, as any overexerted effort produces its opposite result. So the keys within will assist you in unlocking your mind, thus leading you to formulate your plans, leading you to take the action involved in executing your ideas. The content will consist of quotes from some of your favorite musicians, poets, activists, and all-around humanitarians. There'll also be exercises and simple meditation practices to help uplift humanity past the frequency that we're currently vibrating on. The curation was prepared and designed to give insight into perspectives that may be foreign, even native. Now, as we're all connected within several degrees of separation, it isn't unlikely that we'll find commonality within those we least expect. Now, the irony is, if we have layers of preconceived beliefs about people before we get an opportunity to understand them, we risk the chance of drowning in our own ignorance. This is something that not one of us is immune to if we allow ourselves to be caught in the streams of low vibrations. Believe it or not, it's extremely easy to get caught in a negative flow. Everyone experiences this flow at some point, and that's one of the major factors in some of the newly prescribed conditions such as anxiety and depression. Although feelings such as grief and fear have always been a part of the human emotions, it's not always been packaged with complicated names and prescriptions. This is a form of attachment. When we identify with a name and a condition, we cast a spell on ourselves, subscribing to that condition consciously, and it becomes a part of us. This does not discount the validity of these conditions. It more so brings to light the importance of having these essential conversations. Upon reading this book, I will hope that the reader will feel connected, not only to the world, but most of all, self. There's an immense power that one attains when they can look into the mirror and truly love who and what they see. That glow that you see radiating from your reflection is you, and you are what makes your world go round. If you make a mistake, then you pay for that. If you make a good decision, then you reap the benefits of that choice you choose to make. In other words, you're your own genie, and you have an unlimited number of wishes. Those wishes are based on the thoughts chosen to feel, consciously or subconsciously. From there, we act, and the manifestation process is underway. Studies from Harvard researchers have shown that mindfulness and meditation have proven to be beneficial in changing the patterns in one's brain. By verbalizing your thoughts in affirmations, research has shown that your words become up to 10 times more powerful than simply letting them exist just as thoughts. It's also been proven through studies that negative thoughts can have a bigger impact on our mental state than positive ones. A better way of thinking. Therefore, it's extremely essential to start taking hold of your thoughts and your feelings, so at that point, you'll begin guiding them with as much clarity as possible. Because we all have the unique ability to dive inside of our own minds and project those desires onto the world to create your reality, there's never been a better time to be alive and aware. This is the importance of taking hold of your mind and developing it to the highest degree. This is why we've developed music and meditation. I'm not saying that I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I'll spark the brain that will change the world. Tupac, rest in peace. Chapter 1, Physicality, Earth. The build-up, security. From the east to the west, similar principles are practiced and shared in various ways. For example, food, water, and shelter in the west, Maslow's physiological needs could be viewed as the root chakra in Sanskrit or Malkuth in Hebrew. These Eastern philosophies are all stating a similar concept of foundation. It's pivotal to use this first chapter as the foundation, as with any good mason, while laying the first brick on the home. Before the roof, the crown, is placed on your residence, there's a process that every individual must undergo in order to achieve self-actualization, or ketha in Hebrew. Countless hours go into not only laying the foundation, but adding walls and constructing the framework to keep the structure solid. By incorporating the building materials and resources, plus using them as steps toward completing the given project, there's no doubt that the temple will be built. There are many layers within this process, but it's the beauty in life's journey. By becoming a master of the process and learning through the challenges we face on a daily basis, we never truly fail. We only fail by giving in to fear. The fear of lack, loneliness, even the fear of getting old. Whatever it may be. To continue to construct our great works of life, we must ground ourselves, preparing our minds and bodies for the inevitable growth that must take place. For this journey, our fear must subside, and we must envision the castle in which we want to build, even before the hammer strikes the first nail. Breakdown, fear. We've all heard the term false evidence appearing real. If you really break that concept down, where does that come from? Short answer, our mind. Long answer, systematic structuring and psychological conditioning molded by our environment. The idea of fear is real in the sense that humans are wired for survival. However, the methods used to place us in that mode of survival are not always real. Many have made millions by tapping into the human consciousness and correlating this with commerce. Take hurricane season, for instance. We're all aware of the importance of safety, so when there's an alert for a severe storm, there's always a surge in certain items like food and batteries. At many stores, if they're not sold out of water, They'll have limitations on the amounts that the individual can purchase. According to University of Virginia's study on consumer data, bottled water sales generally increase by 10% in areas on the coast as hurricanes approach. Given that the sales of bottled water in 2018 reached a revenue of over $67.6 million according to Statista, 10% represents a huge segment of growth on the GDP scale. Take the coronavirus, COVID-19, as another example. In 2020, when the news of this virus gained the world's attention, a global pandemic commenced and millions of lives were affected. Millions lost jobs, stock markets around the world crashed, businesses closed indefinitely, and thousands of souls, unfortunately, lost their lives. There's no statistic that can measure the magnitude in which this virus has impacted the lives and well-being of hundreds of millions of people. There'll be many sources to find certain statistics, yet this references to emphasize the fact that fear can be packaged and manufactured, so it fundamentally takes advantage of human nature's most basic physiological function: survival. For the sake of survival, one will go to any length to preserve themselves, whether that means not making human contact for months or buying a lifetime supply of toilet paper because it was recommended to do so. The main ingredient in the level of existence once again leads back to self-preservation. If the mind is conditioned through fear, it's easier to manipulate. What can be done to counteract the methods in which fear is being used against us? The first answer is awareness. By properly distinguishing between your thinking and your observing mind, you're allowing yourself the freedom to be free. There is a difference between the thoughts that you're thinking and the thoughts that you're watching walk through your mind. The moment that one fully grasps that inherent truth is the moment that one is on the path to seeing the light. Perspective. Once basic needs such as safety and security are taken care of and one is not operating in survival mode, then they're said to be a tree grounded with roots. Once those roots are planted in the soil, then it allows one to advance up the tree of life and reach higher levels within self. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we're living our fears. Les Brown. Daily quotes, level 1. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Khalil Gibran. The big lesson in life, baby, is never be scared of anyone or anything. Frank Sinatra. Be brave. Take risks. Nothing can substitute experience. Paulo Coelho. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky. In order to write about life, first you must live it. Ernest Hemingway. The awareness of being is the door through which the manifestation of life passes into the world of form. Dr. Phil Valentine. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Chinese proverb. Do not fear mistakes. There are none. Miles Davis. The ego is nothing other than the focus of conscious attention. Alan Watts. The secret of life is to have no fear. It's the only way to function. Stokely Carmichael. Don't let the fear of the time it'll take to accomplish something stand in the way of your doing it. The time will pass anyway. We might just as well put that passing time to the best possible use. Earl Nightingale. I had to confront my fears and master every demonic thought about inferiority, insecurity, or the fear of being black, young, and gifted in this Western culture. Lauryn Hill. Limits like fear are often an illusion. Michael Jordan. Even death is not to be feared by one who has lived wisely. Buddha. The components of anxiety, stress, fear, and anger do not exist independently of you in the world. They simply do not exist in the physical world, even though we talk about them as if they do. Wayne Dyer. There's no reason for the establishment to fear me, but it has every right to fear the people collectively. I am one with the people. Huey Newton. Greatness comes from fear. Fear can either shut us down and we go home, or we fight through it. Lionel Richie. Handle your business or it'll handle you. Pops. Reject your sense of injury and the injury itself disappears. Marcus Aurelius. Don't fear failure. Not failure, but low aim is the crime. In great attempts, it is still glorious even to fail. Bruce Lee. For me, beauty is me at the top of my game, going as hard as I can without the fear of what anyone else thinks. Believing in yourself when nobody else is believing in you is half the battle about anything. Shonda Rhimes. You often meet your fate on the road you take to avoid it. French proverb. When fear rushed in, I learned how to hear my heart racing, but refused to allow my feelings to sway me. That resilience came from my family. It flowed through our bloodline. Coretta Scott King. You can conquer almost any fear if you will only make up your mind to do so. For remember, fear does not exist anywhere except in the mind. Dale Carnegie. Nothing in life is to be feared. It's only to be understood. Marie Curie. I've learned over the years that when one's mind is made up, this diminishes fear. Knowing what must be done does away with fear. Rosa Parks. Exercise. Seek a place in nature where you can be at peace and appreciate your surroundings. Find a comfortable place in the grass, take your shoes off, and become one with your environment. If not for an hour, try 15 to 20 minutes. Set aside that amount of time to clear your mind of all the worries, anxiety, and tasks ahead, as they'll still be there when the exercise is complete. You owe yourself time to unwind and process stillness. Life is constantly moving so quickly that at times it may be hard to keep up. Give yourself a moment to be one with nature and release your mind from all the afflictions you face and focus on serenity. Take your mind to a calm and quiet place where you can see the thoughts pass by without attaching to any specific one, as the goal is to release and come to a state of nothingness. In that state of emptiness, you'll gain an ability to center yourself and stay grounded. With this powerful mental transformation and application of mindfulness, you're sure to find yourself leveling up by the next exercise. Chapter 2. Emotions. Welder. Breakdown. Guilt. Have you ever felt like you wanted something so badly that you'd do whatever it took to get it? Had a desire that burned so bright that if you were to open your eyes, then you need sunglasses. Whether this desire is to achieve a goal or woo an ideal lover, it's human nature to want things that are seemingly unattainable or unorthodox. For instance, if one is seeking knowledge and certain information is contrary to what they may have been taught, then this individual may experience cognitive dissonance, which is conflicting ideas, beliefs, or behaviors. If they experience these feelings and allow potential internal conflict to prevent them from further exploration of the said idea, then the individual may inadvertently hinder their growth. Often, this dissonance derives from the guilt that one feels from venturing out and trying something that may seem taboo. You can even take medication, for example. Less than a decade ago, spiritualism and meditation was looked upon with speculation. Many people in traditional religion viewed this practice as something outside of the will of God. Through many years of collective growth, these ideas and preconceived beliefs have largely been debunked. Yet, there's still immense room for growth and understanding. By exploring the depths of your wisdom, you gain true insight into the world. By not learning, reflecting, and cultivating, you'll find that a limited perspective may make it difficult to adapt to new challenges as they inevitably arise in life. Build up, creativity, pleasure. It's said that the body is made up of over 70% water. Taking into account how that liquid energy is flowing throughout our bodies, we can learn how to apply that same concept of fluidity into our environment as well. As water is likened to the fluidity of our emotions, adaptability is a skill that we as humans will continuously cultivate as we grow. By understanding that many of our emotional afflictions are self-induced, we operate in a consistent mode of fluidity. Understanding that with each decision we make, we place the next domino in effect with our cause. This is natural law. One of the most masterful martial artists had a famous interview in 1971 where he stated the importance of being formless like water. Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. Now you put the water in the cup and it becomes the cup. Put the water in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot and it becomes a teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be like water, my friend. Like that. You see? Bruce Lee. This was adopted from a Taoist principle where Lao Tzu states how water is relentless in its ability to transcend all obstacles. We can correlate this to the fact that we're constantly in a mode of fluidity. Take this approach. When we always find a way to adapt to life's many changes as we flow through the rivers and oceans of life, whether it's an unexpected change at work or within your personal life, it's essential to come up with actionable steps that'll help you create a solution. By navigating through our thoughts and feelings, we place ourselves in a pivotal position to take action on our plans and ideas. Perspective. There's power in recognizing our emotions. The power exists in the ability to operate from a place of energy in motion, emotion. Meditation and reflection are opportunities for us to train our mind. In psychology, they call this neuro-linguistic programming. We take our thoughts and feelings and direct them in a fashion that'll be most productive for our growth. Learning leads to the wisdom of contemplation. From contemplation, we're able to cultivate new concepts and ideas objectively. Once one has grasped the concept of an idea, the next step is to reflect, digest, and process the idea. From there comes the most important step, taking action on our ideas. What we experience depends on consciousness. What we perceive becomes the world we experience. Consciousness makes experience possible. Deepak Chopra. Daily quotes, level 2. To be still is to be free from involvement of mind, emotions, and various physical symptomologies that may arise. Manly P. Hall. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained. Marie Curie. It's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. I was determined to play my horn against all odds, and I had to sacrifice a whole lot of pleasure to do so. Louis Armstrong. Extreme pain to extreme pleasure has been the story of my entire life. Prodigy. There are no pleasures in a fight, but some of my fights have been a pleasure to win. Muhammad Ali. Energy follows attention, blood energy, tonic energy, emotional energy, oxygen energy, and etheric energy. C. Freeman L. My taste changes radically all the time, and I listen to whatever feels good. Rick Rubin. The essence of all art is to have pleasure in giving pleasure. Dale Carnegie. It's always a pleasure when you get to work with people that you actually really like. Mekhi Phifer. I knew my ways were unfulfilling. I chased power, pleasure, possessions, something satisfying. I knew I kept getting let down. I knew it was insanity and I was never gonna find fulfillment, but I didn't know what else to look for. Lecrae. The past has no power over the present moment. Eckhart Tolle. Forgiveness is giving up hope that the past could be any different. Oprah Winfrey. Jazz is not just music, it's a way of life. It's a way of being, a way of thinking. Nina Simone. Just as Jesus created wine from water, we humans are capable of transmuting emotion into music. Carlos Santana. I merely took the energy it takes to pout and wrote some blues. Duke Ellington. We must learn to adjust to our surroundings. T-Pain. Frustration, discouragement, and depression means that you're working against yourself. Sadhguru. In the process of letting go, you'll lose many things from the past, but you'll find yourself. Deepak Chopra. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Carl Jung. Embrace what makes you unique, even if it makes others uncomfortable. I didn't have to become perfect because I've learned throughout my journey that perfection is the enemy of greatness. Janelle Monáe. The fault you see in your brother is really in you. The world is a mirror. Rumi. If you spent an extra hour each day of study in your chosen field, you'll be a national expert in that field in 5 years or less. Earl Nightingale. Where you stumble and fall, there you discover gold. Joseph Campbell. Until one finds and understands their true self, along with a purpose worth fighting for, then they're battling in an endless war with no sword. Anonymous. Negative energy that comes at you in some form is energy that can be turned around to defeat an opponent and lift you up. 50 Cent. When the music comes on, everything makes sense. I find myself in the sound waves. The vibrations calm my spirit and all the pain goes away. Anonymous. I think I get blown away by chord progressions that make me feel something that I've never felt before. To me, chords are like coordinates. They send you to a place. For real. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it. They just saw something that seemed obvious to them after a while. Steve Jobs. Never apologize for what you feel. It's like apologizing for being real. Lil Wayne. Exercise. Take a moment to sit in a quiet place, undisturbed and unagitated from anything going on around you. If possible, find a lake or a body of water you can visit. From there, contemplate an emotion you're feeling, then break it down into layers and questions. Example, right now I'm feeling upset. Why am I feeling upset? Because I wasn't able to make it to the restaurant before they closed the doors. Why didn't I make it to the restaurant? Because of traffic. Why did the traffic affect my arrival at the restaurant? Because I left at a time where there were a lot of cars on the road and it slowed down my journey. Why did I leave so late? Because I thought that I would make it on time. What is the conclusion? Next time I'll leave earlier to ensure that I make it on time. Just using this as an example of why and what, and digging into deeper layers, we identify that a lot of our obstacles we face are self-inflicted. Many times, there are other factors and other circumstances involved. This is just an example of how to approach life with a fluid mentality versus a broken mentality. This exercise of why and what can be used for almost any scenario in which one seeks clarification on a thought or feeling. At the very least, it should inspire one to seek the answers which will help guide them to a higher level and advance up in the stages for the next exercise. Chapter 3, Confidence, Fire, Build Up, Willpower and Identity. Confidence, confidence. There's a common misconception that confidence is how one feels about themselves. It's more so how one projects that idea of self onto reality in the manner in which they would like you to perceive it. How often have we seen that the loudest one in the room is often the one whose esteem is absent? In the same respect, how frequently have we seen the quiet, reserved individual rise up to do the unexpected with the reservoir of unsuspected esteem? By finding the purpose one embodies and reaching a state of certainty in their desire, they can effectively convey that message to the world. By accepting and understanding oneself completely, one also gains a higher capacity to accept and respect others regardless of differences in backgrounds, lifestyle preferences, and nationalities. In our current cultural climate, it's extremely easy to get caught up in perceptions and the image of what's laid out for us in society. We tend to develop a view of self and others based on what we internalize. Growing up, it's even easier to get wrapped into the whirlwinds of our environment as we've not fully developed and understood our identity. Therefore, it's always advised to seek one's individuality and your purpose will line up for you. Many have found themselves early in life through channeling their passions and operating from a state of pure intention. By harnessing that fire, we can begin directing our efforts toward a specific goal and accomplish all that thy will. Breakdown. Shame. Shame exists by living with and identifying past decisions or actions. We've all made mistakes, and it can probably be agreed that no one would say they've always had the best outcome in every choice that they've made. Keep in mind that as we continue to reflect on past situations in a negative light, then we'll attract more negative thoughts and effects of those mental fixtures. For instance, if you're an artist or comedian that performed at a local gig and bombed in the past, and you had the opportunity to perform there again, many thoughts may cross your mind regarding your ability to be a success the next time around. If you continuously immerse yourself in self-doubt and uncertainty regarding your abilities, then you'll be unsuccessful in admitting your certainty and purpose to the world. Your thoughts and feelings will ultimately decide your future. With this being said, we can conclude that it's in our hands to identify or disidentify with the thoughts that align with our true self. In order to achieve that level of confidence, it's important to come to grips with the reality that no one is perfect, flawless, yet we all can achieve perfection, completion. The only way to do that is to forgive yourself from the pain, fear, or resentment that may exist within. By harboring those feelings, you remain emotionally empty. That feeling of being drained will linger within your aura, and people may feel uncomfortable in your presence. This is the energy that will either magnetize your presence or repel those from your presence. The choice is yours. Perspective. By practicing mindfulness, we can literally change our lives. It starts with our mindset. Our capacity for creation is so powerful that there's a war for our minds growing increasingly strong in the sectors of art and entertainment. To go inside and take hold of the mind is an ancient art that's been mastered over the years, yet it's being used as a disruptive force to destroy. That'll continue to happen unless, of course, we take the time to cultivate and maximize the manifestations that can arise from knowing who we are. Then we'll truly know what we can offer the world. I have self-doubt, I have insecurity, I have fear of failure. I have nights when I show up at the arena and I'm like, my back hurts, my feet hurt, my knees hurt. I don't have it. I just want to chill. We all have self-doubt. You don't deny it, but you also don't capitulate to it. You embrace it. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Daily Quotes Level 3. The struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one. Or it may be both a moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. Frederick Douglass. I don't have time for the news clippings. I got my own mission. Nas. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Napoleon Hill. You can't fall if you don't climb, but There's no joy in living your whole life on the ground. Unknown. If the wind will not serve, take the oars. Latin proverb. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Picasso. I've been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. Leonardo da Vinci. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. Confucius. Either write something worth reading or do something worth writing. Benjamin Franklin. At 33 degrees, water falling from the sky on a Saturday is a gray, rainy day. At 32 degrees, children are building snowmen and riding sleighs. A single degree can change everything. Mac Anderson. Many of life's failures are men who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Thomas Edison. The question isn't who's gonna let me, it's who's gonna stop me. Ayn Rand. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The best way out is always through. Robert Frost. If it's to be, it's up to me. Losers make excuses, winners make progress. Brian Tracy. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking that they don't have any. Alice Walker. I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. You drown not by falling into a river, but by staying submerged in it. Paulo Coelho. But to be the best, you must face the best. And to overcome your fear, you must deal with the best. Barry Bonds. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Dale Carnegie. Style is whatever you want to do if you can do it with confidence. George Clinton. I think power is the principle of moving forward. As though you have the confidence to move forward. Eventually gives you the confidence when you look back and see what you've done. Robert Downey Jr. Confidence comes with maturity, being more accepting of yourself. Nicole Scherzinger. Working with great people makes you great. You learn a lot, and it also gives you the experience and confidence to move on with your own career. Nas. I often find it's just the confidence that makes you sexy, not about what your body looks like. It's how you feel about yourself that makes you sexy. Queen Latifah. Confidence comes from discipline and training. Robert Kiyosaki. When I'm out on the football field, I have so much confidence in what I'm doing. Tom Brady. Sometimes you gotta stand by your failures to recognize your success. Joe Budden. If everything was perfect, you would never learn and you would never grow. Beyonce. I know what it's like to feel that fear and the need of affirmation and appreciation. To build confidence in yourself is the toughest thing. Shakira. I've always had confidence. It came because I have lots of initiative. I wanted to make something of myself. Eddie Murphy. What I say on the record and what I say off a record is two different things. And that's always been the case. There's a difference between confidence on a record and arrogance. LL Cool J. I always have confidence, whether I miss 4 in a row or make 4 in a row, that the next one's going in. To a coach, sometimes that might not make sense. Stephen Curry. Believe in yourself, be persistent, and don't let anyone break your confidence. Naomi. There's a certain confidence that comes with being sure about the way the world works. John Legend. I feel that confidence in women, especially young girls of color, but women in general, is so important. It's so important for us to arm ourselves and become powerful at a very young age. Viola Davis. My style has changed and evolved mainly because I've grown to have more confidence in myself. Kevin Durant. There was a whole newfound confidence that came over me after having my son, Sierra. I always try to set a positive example for my generation and promote confidence. Keke Palmer. Be your own artist and always be confident in what you're doing. If you're not going to be confident, you might as well not be doing it. Aretha Franklin. Circumstances don't make the man. They only reveal him to himself. Epictetus. There is as much dignity in tilling a field as in writing a poem. Booker T. Washington. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Viktor Frankl. Ain't about whether you can or can't, it's about if you will or won't. Cuba Gooding. I dwell in possibility. Emily Dickinson. Doing the best at the moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. Oprah Winfrey. When I was young, I read the Bible and already knew what it meant to be the good guy. Look what happened to Jesus. So I already understood that you get ridiculed for telling the truth, and I've always been aware of that. But I'm the guy with confidence, and I'm not afraid. Damon Dash. I'm gonna always rise above the doubt that may exist about me. T.I. Exercise. With this exercise, we'll practice the art of affirmation. Take a moment to find a mirror, light a candle, and spend 15 to 20 minutes affirming to yourself traits and attitudes you possess or would like to possess. Example, I am inspired. I am wise. I am disciplined. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am enough. Other positive affirmations can be based around scenarios that have not yet happened, but you desire them to happen. Example, I will have an excellent interview. I will be hired on the spot, or I will have an amazing segment, and the audience will receive me well. They will connect with me like never before. The final affirmation group in this exercise will prove to be most effective. It is similar yet takes place in a state of certainty or absolute being. Example, it feels incredible now that I've had an excellent interview and was hired on the spot. Or, it feels amazing that I put on an amazing show and my audience loved me. Although the exercises are similar, they each emit a different vibration. Within this final exercise, the energy was that of the idea which was desired already being attained. That state of the wish fulfilled already being attained will allow you to be placed in a state of constant reception of positivity based on the words you affirm. Chapter 4. Love. Air. Build up. Balance. Balance. Mayat. Kemet. This is found through experience. Wisdom is acquired and knowledge is attained, thus allowing one to formulate an understanding of a given situation. By going through the valley and seeing the darkness, once one reaches the peak of the mountain, the light can be recognized and truly appreciated. That light is strategically dimmed as to prevent those from achieving a state of harmony. This is the way, the truth, and the light, the bridge that connects hearts and souls to one another. Interconnectivity is one of the most powerful forces known to all of creation. The ability to create and develop relations with individuals, whether business or personal, is a gift if it's understood. From the way our lungs intertwine with the air to how the seabed holds the ocean afloat, there's an invisible bridge that connects everything to everything. Some call this the microcosm of the macrocosm. Regardless of how you classify this flow, the essence of its truth will always bring you balance. Think about the moments where you feel the most joy. Is it when you see a family member you haven't seen in a while? Maybe it's when you come to an understanding of what love means. To come to an inner harmony and alignment of the first levels and the next 3 levels, that is a center. In ancient ages, this was known as mayat, balancing our heart and feather on the scales to see which one is lighter. It was said that if the feather was lighter than your heart, then you would be devoured by the crocodilian jaws of the demon Amit. If your heart was lighter than the feather, you were prepared through your noble deeds and virtuous lifestyle to transition to the next phase of your existence. This is your invitation to elevate your consciousness into either a higher or latest. This is your invitation to elevate your consciousness into either a higher or lower state of being. Breakdown. Grief. Have you ever felt hopeless? Felt like life wasn't worth living? Felt like you were on the edge of the world and nobody was there to keep you from falling? Felt like if you were to hold your chest and you could feel your blood rushing to your heart? The stains of grief that soak through our skin leaves our soul feeling empty. Maybe it was heartbreak. Or maybe it was a business relationship or friendship that didn't turn out well. People all go through different experiences that help shape their personality and perception of the world. Without heartache and sorrow, we wouldn't appreciate happiness and bliss. Without joy, we wouldn't know pain. Without sunshine, we wouldn't know rain. The words are as interchangeable as Frankie Beverly and Mays. Level 4, the heart, the center, the core. This is a very critical piece of the puzzle we're constructing. Being that is the emotional center of love for self and others, it is to be held in the highest regards. If not, one may fall into stages of depression, grief, hatred, and a plethora of other negative vibrations. The Buddhists call these emotions afflictions. The Christians call them sins. Whichever denomination or classification you choose, these emotions are not in alignment to the elevation of balance and connectivity. This is critical to recognize because not only is level 4 the bridge between the lower and higher levels, but it's positioned on our body in an area that controls our blood pressure, circulation, and immune system. By falling out of harmony with ourselves and others, we suffer illnesses or dis-ease when the body is not in a state of internal harmony or homeostasis. Whether looking at this scientifically, religiously, or spiritually, our heart is how we can hear the soul of the world speaking to us from within. All we have to have are eyes to see and ears to hear. Perspective. Regardless of what anyone thinks or how they feel about you, the most important thing is how you think and feel about yourself. The rest will follow. Every situation has many angles. The idea is to not get caught up in the complexity of the ever-changing wisps of the wind. True awakening exists when the mind and body are not stimulated by the many manipulative surroundings that the world will cast. In some traditions, they call the illusion of life the Maya. By learning to perceive things in a balanced and objective state, you begin to find your equilibrium within yourself and the world. Upon finding that balance, you'll gain a connection to everything that you come into contact with. You've opened the door to eternity. In this life, we're in a constant search for inner peace. We long for it in all aspects of our lives, both personally and professionally. The truth is that we cannot have inner peace without balance. It seems that having too much or too little of anything completely throws off our balance, therefore limiting our inner peace. Raheem Devon. Daily Quotes, Level 4. Your daily life is your temple and your religion. Khalil Gibran. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there's any reaction, both are transformed. Carl Jung. Waste no time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. Don Miguel Ruiz. Am I not destroying my enemies when I make friends of them? Abraham Lincoln. To change the community, you have to change the composition of the soil. We are the soil. Ron Finley. Strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Albert Einstein. If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. If you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Booker T. Washington. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. The hardest thing to find in life is balance, especially the more success you have, the more you look at the other side of the gate. Celine Dion. If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. Henry Ford. Sound character provides the power with which a person may ride the emergencies of life instead of being overwhelmed by them. Failure is the highway to success. Og Mandino. I always tell up-and-coming DJs, you have to really love what you do and find that interest to drive you. It requires so much attention to detail and takes up a lot of your time. You hear a song and there are so many little pieces that make the song work. It requires a lot of patience, diligence, and resilience. Steve Aoki. When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But we often look so long at the closed door that we don't see the one that's been opened for us. Helen Keller. Love is a really scary thing, and you never know what's gonna happen. It's one of the most beautiful things in life, but it's one of the most terrifying. It's worth the fear because you have more knowledge and experience. You learn from people and you have memories. Ariana Grande. When you feel sad, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Everyone has those days when you doubt yourself and when you feel like everything you do sucks, but then there's those days when you feel like Superman. It's just the balance of the world. I just write to feel better. Mac Miller. Don't aim for success. If you want it, just do what you love and believe in it, and it'll come naturally. David Frost. Do not rebuke mockers or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise and they will love you. King Solomon. How many people you bless? It's how you measure success. Rick Ross. There's no person that love cannot heal. There's no soul that love cannot save. Carlos Santana. Blast my records out the windows of your Honda Accord, and if anyone gives you any grief, you look them right in the eye and tell them Rick Ross told you wealth begins in the heart. Rick Ross. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King Jr. I say what I want to say, and I do what I want to do. There's no in between. People will either love you for it or hate you for it. Eminem. What I'm not confused about is the world needing more love, no hate, no prejudice, no bigotry, and more unity, peace, and understanding. Period. Stevie Wonder. True love is born from understanding. The Buddha. War is not the answer, because only love can conquer hate. Marvin Gaye. People go to their jobs and hate it every day, but they have great ideas. Put that same time and effort into something you love. It really starts with being honest with yourself. Karen Civil. Hate is indeed self-destructive, and this is what real hip-hop must avoid at all costs. KRS-One. I hold grudges, but I can't hate anybody. That's not my nature. Notorious B.I.G. You can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. Malcolm X. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Carl Jung. Service is the lifeblood of any organization. Everything flows from it and is nourished by it. Customer service is not a department, it's an attitude. Mac Anderson. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Martin Luther King Jr. It is one of the most beautiful compensations in life. We can never help another without helping ourselves. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Everybody's at war with different things. I'm at war with my heart sometimes. Tupac. Exercise. In this exercise, you'll explore the power of internal dialogue. This exercise will consist of you practicing words of intention that will help you gain clear insight into who you are. If possible, go to a place that's slightly elevated. Maybe the top of a hill or a mountain, or you can write and recite your completed list as you're in flight headed to your next city. The goal is to be united with the element air. Now that you're in position, compile a list of the things that you like about yourself and 3 people close to you. Within the list, also include 3 things that you're grateful for. Example, I like that I am a student of life and love to learn. Another would be, I love the fact that my friend blank is always there for people even when they are not in the best situations. Finally, I am grateful that I am open to learning new information and I have friends who are considerate to others. There's no limit to how long the list should be or how many people you should include, but there are a few things to note. This is a particularly effective exercise when being truly genuine and compassionate about seeing the best in yourself and others. Another way to take this exercise to the next level is to share your list of positive words with those whom you wrote the list about. You'll find that this small yet great task will take your level of connectivity and compassion to a level that's unimaginable. This most certainly will prepare you for the next exercise. Chapter 5, Communication, Sound. Build-up, Truth and Expression. Being that Chapter 4 was a level of love, the bridge to the next stage, we should truly understand our first 4 levels before getting to the vocalization phase, level 5. The higher self is one's ability to formulate thoughts, feelings, and actions that'll help them transcend to the higher levels of articulation and opportunity expansion. If one can express themselves to a point where they can show their value, then they will tap into opportunities that exist all around them. Many of us are gifted in certain areas of oration, artistry, and networking. We just may not know how to tap into our potential. For some, it comes naturally. For others, they learn to grow into the communicator that best embodies their personality. Whether it's communicating with a significant other or delivering a message to thousands of people, effective communication is necessary when attempting to get others to see your viewpoint and understand your ideas. By truly defining who you are and what foundation you stand on, you gain an innate ability to connect with people like never before. By maintaining your authenticity and being true to yourself regardless of the scenario, people will resonate with the vibration you register with. they'll also be compelled to grasp the concepts you're delivering. Through these many steps up the ladder to successful communication, understand that true mastery will not come overnight. Through many hours of dedication or tapping into your rhythm and natural flow, you'll come to a stage where you'll find your voice. From there, our expression outlets are magnified as you convey your message to the masses with passion, creativity, confidence, and love. Breakdown, falsity. If not careful, one can block themselves off from their higher self. By not articulating oneself in accordance to natural law, the individual becomes open to serious repercussions. There may be a short string of successes due to manipulative methods, but eventually, things will always come full circle. False representations of who one is through deceit and lies are how you internally block self from realizing the higher nature that exists. This also presents issues when trying to convince yourself of something in which you know deep within is not true. Reason being is the first relationship you have is with yourself. If there are not positive reinforcements of your purpose, then you may feel as though your voice does not matter and expression is pointless. Maslow correlates this to esteem. If expression becomes difficult, then one can inadvertently hinder their ability to articulate their ideas. Many of us go through life feeling voiceless. One reason is, since we were children, society has been trying to shape us, fitting us into structured patterns and prisms, molding us into versions of ourselves that may not speak to our highest potential. Whether it's the gifted musician who's being steered into a profession that their family desires, or the skilled designer that abandons their passion merely to make ends meet and survive, life has an interesting way of taking us along a journey we ultimately choose. Along that journey to expression, we'll always get what we ask for, if we truly know what we want. The issue exists when we do not know what to ask for. We end up letting someone else decide our fate. If we don't know what to ask, we will not be given. If we don't know what to seek, we'll never find. If we don't knock on the door, then it will not be opened. Perspective. We truly underestimate the power of sound and vibration. Vibrations have the power to destroy cities or heal countries. It's all in how the cause and effect are combined. Take the earthquake that pulsates and pillages an entire city due to the sonic vibrations it erupts. Flip the scenario and take a country like Jamaica. Observe the power of sound that Bob Marley used to unite his island with love and peaceful vibes. To take that even further, the world was affected by the music that Bob Marley and the Wailers created. There's an undeniable factor, even power, that sounds and vibrations have. Some of that has to do with the connection the vibrations have to water and water has to our bodies. As above, so below. Each celestial body, in fact, each and every atom, produces a particular sound on account of its movement, its rhythm, or vibration. All these sounds and vibrations form a universal harmony in which each element, while having its own function, contributes to the whole. Pythagoras. Daily quotes, level 5. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. What you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear a word that you say. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up. Pablo Picasso. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Zig Ziglar. Money and success don't change people. They merely amplify what's already there. Will Smith. Take a breath. Don't take any of it too seriously. Share. Never stop fighting, no matter what anyone says. If it's in your gut, your soul, There's nothing, no worldly possession that should come between you and your expression. Kanye West. The further a society drifts from truth, the further it will hate those who speak it. George Orwell. My music is the spiritual expression of what I am. My faith, my knowledge, my being. John Coltrane. Your world is a living expression of how you're using and have used your mind. Earl Nightingale. I always tell audience when I talk about writing, writing isn't something I do. Writing isn't something that I am. I am writing. It's just an expression of me. Wayne Dyer. The word is a force you cannot see, but you can see the manifestation of that force. The expression of the word, which is your own life. Don Miguel Ruiz. Each time we do not say what we want to say, we're dying. Yoko Ono. You should listen to the truth, whoever may have said it. Maimonides. All advancement in society begins with the development of the character of the young. Aristotle. If you wish to be a writer, write. Epictetus. Despite everything, no one can dictate who you are to other people. Prince. It's not about the names. I just believe that if all these leaders came together for one purpose, not to promote anything, not for the press, but really just to come together to share their wisdom with the next generation, I just believe that the young people could do so much more. Alex Banayan. Music is powerful. As people listen to it, they can be affected. They respond. Ray Charles. Music should be your escape. Missy Elliott. Music is a tool to express life, and all that makes a difference. Herbie Hancock. Music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand. Stevie Wonder. Trying to explain music is like trying to dance architecture. Thelonious Monk. Art does not reproduce the visible, rather it makes visible. Paul Klee. Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the men of old. Seek what they sought. Matsui Bosho. The price one pays for pursuing any profession or calling is an intimate knowledge of its ugly side. James Baldwin. Music expresses that which cannot be put into words and that which cannot remain silent. Victor Hugo. Until you're ready to look foolish, you'll never really have the possibility of being great. Share. In order to permit our overself to be heard, we have to stop talking long enough to hear. Manly P. Hall. I'm too young to feel this damn old. Garth Brooks. Art allows people a way to dream their way out of their struggle. Russell Simmons. Exercise. With this exercise, you'll see the effectiveness of using sound to bring you into a positive frame of mind. Take a moment to prepare a list of at least 10 of your favorite songs, regardless of the genre. Songs that speak to your personality, your perspective, and your taste as an individual. Maybe it's a song that helped you get through a tough situation, or maybe it's a song that helps you when you're looking for motivation to make it through that tough exercise. Whatever the reason for the song being your favorite, write it down, create a playlist, and name the compilation a title that speaks to a goal you have in mind. For instance, if you're praying and hoping for a breakthrough financially, say you need $10,000 for a new item you'd like to purchase. Name your playlist the 10K playlist or something to that extent. The concept is to take your vision, conceptualize it, and meditate on it through things you already enjoy doing, such as listening to music. Chapter 6, Clarity, Light. Build up, knowledge and insight. On the journey to inner vision, some liken it to entering a dark room with a light in hand. The darkness disappears and the light will fill the room. By having an understanding of the foundation you rest on, you possess the light of knowledge and wisdom. This light will fill the body as it did the room, and the darkness of ignorance will be cleared away. This is the true meaning of enlightenment. You can search the corners of the world and swim across the ocean for thousands of miles, but until you search within, you'll feel incomplete regardless of what you attain materially. By taking moments every day to consciously detach from your thoughts and relaxing your lower self, you come to a state of pure presence. In these moments of pure presence, you gain an ability to shift the powers of your mind even when you're not literally meditating. By detaching, you're inadvertently attaching and gaining keener eyesight, internal to external. This is what it means to see the bigger picture. Knowledge can be applied when the information relates to reality. It's one thing to acquire massive amounts of information and not utilize it. Even more so, it's extremely important to realize how and what information is being used for. It was once said, "For unto much is given, much of him shall be expected." Once insight is achieved, it's up to the individual to internalize the concepts learned and apply them into life in accordance to how they desire it to unfold. All matter is light vibrations. However, you can attract all in which you desire to manifest, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Breakdown. Illusion. Our entire lives we've been taught to look outside ourselves for ourselves. From the books we read to the notions we subscribe to. If we're not careful, those ideas and beliefs blend themselves within our personality, and we become a living testament, body and mind, of that particular belief. We live our lives based on the illusions placed before us with no true insight. By looking outside of your own mental resources, you seek clarity from this source and that source without true direction. By having your compass from level 4, you see the breakdowns in society and the buildups, from politics to religion to corporate structuring and life in general. By not allowing yourself to get caught within the smoke screens and many layers of the illusion, you can see how things naturally unfold and how the scattered fragments within all the puzzle pieces complete the picture of life. Perspective. Some say that nirvana or bliss or heaven, however one perceives higher states, is found when one has extinguished false ideas and conflicting emotions in a way that demonstrates clarity and wisdom. Along the path, one will need the courage to seek that which may not be fully understood, the patience to ask the questions necessary to receive the right answers, and the perseverance to continue to knock until the halls of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding are opened. One is said to have developed wisdom by observing self and all truths in the world. At that point, the student is prepared to reach the pinnacle of their being, self-actualization. Mastery is not a function of genius or talent. It's a function of time and intense focus applied to a particular field of knowledge. Robert Greene. Daily quotes, level 6. Take the attitude of a student. Never be too big to ask questions. Never know too much to learn something new. Agmandino. Reality is easy. It's deception that's the hard work. Lauryn Hill. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Wayne Dyer. Self-education is, I firmly believe, is the only kind of education there is. Isaac Asimov. Everything you want in life has a price connected to it. There's a price to pay if you want to make things better, and a price to pay for leaving things as they are. Harry Brown. An unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. Alan Watts. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Albert Einstein. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Norman Vincent Peale. When you know how to listen, everyone is the guru. Ram Dass. All truths are easy to understand once they're discovered. The point is to discover them. Galileo Galilei. The best way to make your dreams come true is to wake up. Muhammad Ali. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Marcus Messiah Garvey. The difference in success and failure isn't how you look, how you dress, or how you're educated. It's how you think. Mac Anderson. Beware the stories you read or tell. Subtly, at night, beneath the waters of your consciousness, they are altering your world. Ben Oker. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. Bill Nye the Science Guy. You must accept the truth from whatever source it comes. Maimonides. Teachers open the door, but you must enter by yourself. Zen proverb. The most beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it from you. B.B. King. Mastery is not a function of genius or talent. It's a function of time, an intense focus applied to a particular field of knowledge. Robert Greene. A room with no books is like a body with no soul. Cicero. Thought applied fearlessly with purpose becomes a creative force. James Allen. You don't have to believe everything you think. Erykah Badu. Even the genius asks questions. Tupac. When you change the way that you think and you change your environment, the things that you want come to you. David Banner. Life without knowledge is death in disguise. Talib Kweli. Exercise. In exercise 6, there'll be an emphasis on attaining information and converting that into knowledge and wisdom. It will be different for each person, as everyone is on a different journey, yet similar paths. There are countless books that will teach you the best practices in various fields, but until you come to a development of self, the memorization of that information will be useless. With this exercise, compile a list of 3 books that align with your path. For instance, if you're seeking knowledge on interpersonal skills, read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're seeking knowledge on self-growth or leadership, then you may find Stephen Covey and John Maxwell's information valuable. The key is to know what you as an individual is looking for. From there, the resources will fall into your lap. Friends will give you suggestions. Titles will pop up in your advertisements while streaming music. Your universe will line up so the information you seek will be found. You just have to knock so the door will be opened. Although life gets hectic, try finding a quiet place for reflection and read and write for at least 30 minutes per day. This will give you a tremendous advantage for unlocking your greatness and preparing for level 7. Chapter 7. Connection. Ether. Build up. Peace. Silence. Reflection. Compassion. This is the key to internal harmony. As our journeys lead us in various directions, it's easy to fall out of alignment. Climbing the top of the mountain to see the sun at the top of the valley takes us on many uncomfortable trails, yet by always finding our center, and coming back to pure presence, we find ourselves in a state of absolute being. By maintaining that vibration, others are able to see the love and light that emits from our essence, and we become a channel for divinity. Once we tune into that channel, we not only become internally aligned, but we are externally aligned with the world that surrounds us. By tapping into the world around us, we start to see ourselves in everyone we come into contact with. This directly drives out lower vibrations like fear and envy. What is there to envy if we're all blessed with the gift of life? When that is realized, we'll collectively rise to a level of universal alignment, also known as peace. This is not to be confused with perfection, as this term will have us searching a lifetime to agree on its definition. And by no means is this to suggest that there will come a time when every single person will believe the exact concepts and have the same belief systems. This is the gift of humanity. We're all so different, yet so similar. Within that realization, a certain maturation of thought will elevate the individual to a level of material actualization. This can be likened to the genie in the bottle. Upon awakening the hidden forces within, you're unlocking the ability to grant yourself any wish you may have dreamt or desired. By tapping in and staying connected with the highest levels of self, you'll also be attaching to the higher forces that surround you, giving you access to all the power you could have ever imagined. What would you do if you had an unlimited number of wishes? If you have a goal, if you have a vision, this is your time to bring it to fruition. Never has there been more universal clarity within this new decade. Social media is allowing for opportunities that have never before existed. Wherever you are on the globe, there's a place for you to expand on whatever idea you have. All you have to do is say it, so to be true. Peace. Breakdown. Ego. Level 7. Level 7 is one of the easiest levels to fall from, yet it is also one of the hardest to reach. You must overcome the lower emotions and achieve that height of peace. So why is it so easy to fall? Simply put, we're human. Whether we'd like to admit it or not, we all have an ego. That ego is naturally a part of our existence. How much power we give to it determines our level of humanity. By cursing out the person who cuts us off or being unnecessarily rude to the customer service agent as they do their job, we are attaching our emotions and importance to things continuously in motion. The cars will always flow and the people driving will always upset you if you allow them to. This attachment to the moment brings you back down the scale and disallows the harmonic flow of life to proceed to bless you. By continuously falling out of our higher states of grace and allowing every fleeting moment to get the best of us, we deem ourselves unworthy to remain at that elevated state of being. Perspective. By now you've reached the top of the mountain. You've advanced through the various levels and layers to come to an actualization of self. Upon gaining this level of awareness and achievement, you've opened up the door of infinity. This door will lead you to complete any task that you have set for yourself. But with it comes a cost. A cost of being misunderstood and reborn into a state of consciousness that is unseen to over 80% of humanity. This places you in the top 15 percentile of the world as far as consciousness is concerned. Although there's an inevitable shift that's taking place and larger numbers of people are finding the way, there will always be an air of mystery that exists when you dive into the unknown. The key to remember is that you're not alone. There have been countless individuals that have ventured on this path to insight, but not everyone will make it. It takes patience, compassion, resilience, and discipline. If you've made it this far, there's much to be said about your character. You are an individual worthy of carrying the light of the world. Peace be unto you. Daily Quotes 7. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and, at last, you create what you will. George Bernard Shaw. Keep your face to the sunshine and you can never see the shadow. Helen Keller. If one is lucky, a solitary fantasy can totally transform 1 million realities. Maya Angelou. Cherish your visions and your dreams as they are the children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements. Napoleon Hill. We become what we think about. Earl Nightingale. Limitations live only in our minds, but if we use our imaginations, our possibilities become limitless. Jamie Paulinetti. Trust in your dreams, for in them is the hidden gate to eternity. Khalil Gibran. Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and at last you create what you will. George Bernard Shaw. If everything was perfect, you would never learn and you would never grow. Beyonce. Do you know that our soul is composed of harmony? Leonardo da Vinci. The loftier the building, the deeper must the foundation be laid. Thomas A. Kempis. You can change the world because it can change people. Bono. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. Life without dreaming is life without meaning. Wale. Every day is new. It's just a new day. I look at life 6 hours at a time. Wiz Khalifa. Forget yesterday. Live for today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Rick Ross. Give light and people will find their way. Ella Baker. I never get too high on my stardom or what I can do. LeBron James. It's like if you had a charger for your whole body and mind. That's what transcendental meditation is. Jerry Seinfeld. I have to have at least 30 minutes to myself. Kendrick Lamar. One good thing about music is when it hits, you feel no pain. Bob Marley. If you play music with passion and love and honesty, then it will nourish your soul, heal your wounds, and make your life worth living. Sting. Do you know that our soul is composed of harmony? Leonardo da Vinci. You want the secret to changing the world? Stop trying to change it. Do great work and let your work change the world. Richard Saul Werman. Music is the mediator between the life of the senses and the life of the spirit. Beethoven. The highest goal of music is to connect one's soul to their divine nature, not entertainment. Pythagoras. Deeply listening to music opens up new avenues of research I'd never even dreamt of. I feel from now on, music should be an essential part of every analysis. Dr. Carl Jung. I hear you. It sounds good. Just make it happen. T.J. Chapman. The sky is not the limit, it's just the view. Swiss Beats. Exercise. In this final exercise, you'll see the effectiveness of using visualizations to tap into your ability to move forward on your goals. The aim is to look past the metaphysicality of these concepts and tune back into the practicality. For instance, what are some of your goals? What are some of your ideas? What about ideas that you've already written on paper? Take this time to vocalize those ideas and record them on your phone or camera. After recording your list of ideas, goals, and visions, replay those recordings to yourself 3 times daily. This is also effective if you find yourself having a moment of doubt or uncertainty. When your mind is attempting to descend in the lower frequencies of thought, it's critical to bring yourself back to a state that's uplifting. By repivoting your goals and ideas to the forefront of your mind, you're vocalizing them. You're taking the intangible and giving it concrete form. The next step is to take that idea and crystallize it into a tangible form that you'll be able to see every day. Take those ideas that are on paper or on your phone and create a dream board to put on your wall. Various things can be added to the vision board, from magazine articles to blank checks to pictures of your desires. It's all based upon each individual's ideal of self-actualization. With the power of your infinite imagination and relentless focus, you're sure to tap into the wealth that exists for each and every one of us. You just have to make yourself available to receive it. Bonus, music suggestions. Music and meditation playlists can be found on themusicandmeditation.com. Other suggestions: ambient music, binaural beats, classical music, lo-fi music, nature sounds, jazz, silence. It truly is golden when used correctly. Developing good habits. What is a habit? A constant inclination to perform an action. This book has allowed for you to gain some insight as to the inner workings of meditation, but the true power is in the application. Each of us have different goals and ideas. This section is designed to give you a few pointers to help you navigate your path to realizing your vision. Number 1, write down bullet points of your goals. Number 2, read goals aloud 5 times a day. Number 3, silently read your goals 5 times a day. Number 4, put goals up on your mirror, wall, refrigerator, etc. Just make visible. Number 5, utilize the voice memo on your phone to record goals. Play back throughout your day during your commute, while exercising, and before sleep. Acknowledgements. Much gratitude to those that blazed the path before me, to my ancestors who guide me daily, my mother and father who were instrumental in making sure that I arrived, my daughter who's the moon in my skies, my 4 younger brothers and sisters who inspire me to become better as each day passes, to all of my mentors from previous jobs who saw my potential and allowed me opportunities to shine my light. I would like to thank each of the contributors to this compilation, regardless of their occupation. They deserve a special recognition for the works they've contributed to society. I'm forever grateful for the impact that they've made on not only my life, but millions of others around the world as well. Without their motivation and words of life, this compilation would be music with no words. It would be rhythm missing the blues. Thank you. And a final thank you to everyone who's taking the time to read the collection of positive vibes. It shows that you're open-minded enough to seek out perspectives that may differ from yours. It also is an indication that you're dedicated to the advancement of yourself as an individual. This is the first step on the journey of 1,000 miles. Peace, love, and light. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Lao Tzu.